Hey guys, DJ Steph here. Today, I'm going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's with my balls, guys. Warning. Spoilers. Five Nights at Freddy's started as a horror game by Scott Cawthon, which became a massive success in no time thanks to YouTubers. You sit in an office and simply have to stop killer animatronics from yelling at you. I'm not gonna go into story details because it's a huge mess nowadays, but I'll try my best to go over the basics. This guy named William Afton created the place with the purpose of luring children in order to murder them. The animatronics were then haunted by the kids due to him stuffing their bodies inside them, and when they come back for revenge, he tries to hide in a spring-lock suit, which was designed to hold back animatronic parts in order for a person to wear it, but it malfunctions and he dies. At least those are the basics of the first 3 games. After that, the story kept getting more and more complicated for what feels like an obligation to just have deep lore for the sake of it. And William Afton always comes back. Anyway, this movie has been in development hell for about 8 years. It was originally supposed to be made by Warner Brothers, but then it switched to Universal and Blumhouse. Directors kept changing. The first draft of the script was scrapped, a bunch of stuff leading to a lot of delays, but they finished it. I didn't really have any strong expectations going into this. Fnaf was never really that good of a franchise, especially since Scott Cawthon made most of the games on his own, and it also doesn't help that I'm not nearly as into Fnaf as I was back in the early days. There was also a lot of dumb drama as the movie was getting really close to release. Okay, movie time. Once again, there will be spoilers. Mike Schmidt is trying to take care of his sister Abby after their parents died, except he calls her Abs because he's part of the cool kids club. And so out of desperation, he gets the job at Freddy FNAF Bear's Pizza. Throughout the movie, he starts having dreams about the time his brother Garrett got kidnapped. He then meets a white woman jump scare who knows quite a bit about the place because she's the daughter of the owner William Afton. Or should I say, Steve Raglan. Steve Raglan is William Afton, and he was trying to kill Abby Ruh-roh. Then they convince the animatronics to turn against him and he dies. Zoinks? I guess I'll start by saying that it wasn't really that scary. FNAF has always been a little weak with its scares, and this movie is more so the same. Some people said it would have helped if the movie was R-rated because, I guess, blood equals scary, but it was a little underwhelming. There is gore and violence shown, but it's either obscured or generally mild. There were a few decent spooks, though. Let's see, William Afton is barely in the movie. I don't think you would have expected Steve Raglan as the villain if you didn't look at the cast. At first I was gonna say there wasn't enough to suggest he might be the villain, but then I remembered the scene of him giving that backstory and some other info on the job, plus the tape. I feel like they did him a little dirty though, especially since he's the main villain of one of the biggest indie franchises ever. What else is there? At first I thought White Woman Jump Scare was gonna be involved with William's schemes, and I was sort of wrong. She mainly drops backstory details on the Faz killings, although I guess it's not exactly an exposition dump, I think, since she's William's daughter and she's a cop. Mike wants to make sure he doesn't lose custody of Abby to his Aunt Jane, who is mean and smells like cigarettes, and she wants Abby so she can get money from the government. You freaking socialist. I mean, she does set up a plan to sabotage Mike's whole thing he's got going on, so, you know. I do think Mike has the best arc in the movie, but it's still just, shit's not bad. I gotta say, I'm really glad the story's back to being more simple this time. There are a few hoops that make it a little hard to explain, but I'm glad we're starting fresh with the movie. And I think if they make this a trilogy, then I hope they stick with having it tell its own story and not do it like the books. If there's one thing FNAF has always been great at though, it's theming and atmosphere, and this movie is no exception. Look, they made a dog animatronic and never used it. I know it's a reference to a hoax, but I think that shows how dedicated this franchise is to its strong suit. And thus, I give this movie a slightly above mediocre out of 10. Alright, my next proper movie review is done, and hopefully it's better than my Freebirds review. I feel like I came off as a little harsh against Freebirds, but you really don't have to see it, you're not missing anything. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!